This is the Google 1 month overview reading for the month of May 2024. It's currently April 29th, 2024, 9:09 p.m. Eastern Time. Google at the time of this reading is currently $167.90. That's USD. The shuffle video for the May reading for Google was, or I should say Alphabet, was created on March 9, 2024, 6:17 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the video playing in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for Google in May, we have a notable move to the upside out of a scary decline. This is on the scale of a 1-year chart. It should be a scary decline, and even in the face of seemingly overwhelmingly negative technical chart behavior or negative headwinds, expectations are to go lower, we still go higher. So my sense is that there's a pretty notable drop, and in the midst of that drop, a pretty notable opportunity to open up a long position. And we're going to get into that in a lot more detail as we progress through the reading. The crossing card also is the Princess of Cups, which is the opportunity to close a short or open up a long position. So you combine those two together, and it's telling a pretty clear story that we have a decline opportunity, big move to the upside. There's likely a prominent trough and a prominent peak on a one-year chart scale here. The behavior around the highest high for the month, we have the Empress card, which is a sideways fluctuating decline preceding a rally. In the high position, that usually indicates that we're going to see the high more than once. And then behavior around the lowest low. This is really interesting, guys. So we've got the star card here as the low card for the May Google reading. The star card is the theme card on the 2024 reading. It has a correlation directly to, see this orange here, directly to the low card of the May cluster. And then we see it as the low card here. So there's a pretty strong indication that we have a really big move on a 1-year chart scale out of the May low. Now, we're going to get into where the lowest low and the highest high are as far as timing and all of the chart behavior in between in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to make sure that everybody's aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. So on the first, we have a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. Decline turns into a rally somewhere between the first and the second along the diagonal trend line that then ends on the second with a fast sudden move higher and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. My sense is that we probably have a highest high here on the second. It could be on the third, but my sense is that it's probably on the second in the midst of that big move to the upside, ending the rally along a diagonal trend line. We're going to get into that trade in a lot more detail. There's actually a day trade there on the second, and a trade here on the third as well. We're going to talk about those in more detail in the paid version. So on the third, there's an important price level where we kind of like flatten out at resistance. It's on the second or the third, and it looks like we probably fall pretty hard from that into a lowest low thus far towards the end of the day on the third. There's sideways rotation along key support on the sixth. We rise to meet the nearest resistance and then fall back down and continue rotating sideways along key support. This is on the scale of a 1-month chart. There's a trough on a 1-month scale early in the day on the sixth, probably lower than what we saw at the end of the day on the third. And then we have a notable move to the upside on the 7th on a 1-month scale, followed by price swings on the 8th, and another significant low in the midst of those price swings, probably towards the end of the day on the 8th or early in the day on the 9th. A rally out of that low, increasing with the momentum moving forward into what could be the same high again. There's a lot of possibility of hiding here. The cross-reading congruencies aren't always as reliable as, say, the same reading congruencies as far as timing on like the small increments of time. But there could be a high here. We're revisiting a support level, or excuse me, we're revisiting an opportunity on the 10th in a period of erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level, and that opportunity is at a crest which we recently met once before. So we like rally from the price swings and the low on the 8th, rally increasing with momentum, and then that turns into more erratic behavior. There's a sharp drop early in the day on the 10th as well, and then from a higher price level later in the day, there's another decline that commences, and that continues over the weekend into the 13th, where we have a prominent trough on a 1-month scale early in the day on the 13th at an important support level on a 1-year chart scale. It's possible that there's a male ruler of nations speaking here on the 13th as well that impacts the market pretty significantly. We have a day trade on the 14th. So when you see a day trade, it usually indicates that there's a lot of price change on that one day, obviously, because that's what you need for a day trade. But there's a prominent trough on a 1-month scale on the 14th, a day trade there, and an important resistance level on a multi-day scale that we decline from and then return back to shortly thereafter, somewhere in like the next day or so. The decline off of that resistance on the 14th continues into the 15th, but ends with a fast sudden move higher on the 15th, taking us to another significant peak or crest, maybe even a highest high, depends on how big that move is. But somewhere around the 15th, 16th is most likely where we have a lowest low for the month. Because there's a lot indicating a really big move to the upside out of this low here around the 15th, 16th. There's an important price level on a 1-year chart scale highlighted on the 16th. We bump along resistance sideways on the 17th, and then towards the end of the day, we break out pretty significantly to the upside there. On the 20th, before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we did for April thus far. There's only like 1 day left. So it was hard to pinpoint the low, but I have a highest high here around the 25th, and then again around the 29th, even possibly the 30th. So we nailed the highest highs. I mean, we have noticed it's the 26th, so we were right here in between those two lows. We missed it by a day, but pretty much nailed where the high is as far as the grand scheme of the month. And then we see it again. So we likely see that again, I think probably tomorrow. If we open significantly lower tomorrow, I would say there's a really big opportunity there to open up a long position. But this is pretty solid. We had a lowest low somewhere around the 8th, 9th, 10th. So it looks like it was on the 5th, so we missed that there by a day. And then we had another lowest low. Matter of fact, so we have it for the 4th, and it ends up being on the 5th. That's that one there. And then there's another one around the 9th. Looks like on the 10th we had a sharp drop, and ended up being a lowest low. We have it for a prominent trough, possibly a lowest low on the 10th. Doesn't look like that panned out. And then on the weekend of the 19th into the 22nd, that was pretty close to a lowest low, not quite, but pretty close. And then it actually looks like this Hermit card took place here, really, with this drop on the 25th. Yeah, that could be the Hermit card right there, but we have a high there on the 25th. So missed that by a day, but it's really pretty solid, and then we should probably see another high at the end of the month. Overall, pretty solid reading, guys. As far as the trades, we would have had you open up a long position on the 22nd, left a little bit on the table to the downside. However, we would have had you close it on the 29th. Would have left a little bit on the table. However, I personally probably would have closed with a big gap up like that. I probably would have closed out there. I didn't trade this, but I'm sure people made money because the following day, that's a pretty significant move to the upside. We also have this opportunity on the 5th to open up a long position and close it on the 8th. That would have made money. On the 15th, open up a short position, which you could have closed out of on the same day, or you could have waited until the 22nd. That would have been a solid gain. I probably would have exited out on the 19th though instead. We have it for the 19th, 22nd. Yeah, these were some pretty solid trades, guys. If you're wondering, the April reading was created all the way back in February, on February 2nd, 2024 at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So, like, as far as where we released these May readings, we're so far behind, but June will be way further ahead. So overall, pretty solid stuff, guys. If you had the paid version, if you would have known about those trades as far back as February. If you're interested in the paid version, it's a really great way to support the channel. What you get in the paid version is information you won't find anywhere else, as far as highest highs, lowest lows, what type of chart behavior to look for as far as entry and exit into and out of the general timing of those highs and lows, and then price level information whenever we're able to extrapolate that as well. All of that in the paid version, well ahead of the market. We're running roughly a 95% accuracy right now, guys, a 95% accuracy. So with that said, you get the paid version here under hover over our services on our website, TerraForTraders.com, click on Asto Meta Posts, scroll down the monthly subscription, click here to order. You can subscribe to just Google or any of these stickers individually, or you can subscribe and get the paid version of all of them for the all paid monthly predictions. It also gives you access to the one-offs when people order custom monthlies. You get access to those as well, and there's usually at least a couple of customs every month. So thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that. Really great way, again, to support the channel and show your appreciation, and you guys are really the core foundation of support for the channel. Not to mention, it's also the most popular subscription on the channel. All right, guys, let's get back into it. There's a couple ways that we can read the 20th because of this unicursal. First off, we want to keep in mind there's a unicursal right here between May and June, and this unicursal is coming up towards the end of June. So this is probably it's either a significant price level that we're going to want to mark off because we'll break through it in the next significant decline on a one-year chart scale, or it could be a sharp drop right there on the 20th. I think we probably drop over the weekend, and then we're rotating sideways along support. That sideways rotation along support ends with a fast sudden move higher that either takes place starting on the 20th or it takes place on the 21st. But that fast sudden move higher offers opportunity. That fast sudden move higher offers opportunity to open up a short position. We either see a significant move to the downside there on the 21st, or we see it on the 22nd in some tricky chart behavior. On the 22nd, I'm advised to be cautious. There's multiple false tops or bottoms, or some sort of whipsaw chart behavior, something that's really tricky. Usually you end up sideways with the prudence card in a lot of cases, not always, but there's a trough early in the day on the 23rd and a sharp drop to meet that trough. There's also a prominent peak on a 1 month scale on the 23rd, and then a day trade opportunity on the 24th with a notable reversal, on a multi-day scale that'll really stand out. I think it's probably a reversal to the upside because there's that opportunity, that yellow correlation to the Princess of Cups there, and we end up in like a peak towards the end of the day. Over the weekend or first thing in the morning on the 28th, there's a pretty sharp drop to meet what could be another lowest low. It's probably almost as low as the lowest low. A lot of the 1 months, they have a lowest low over here towards the end of the month, so it's possible, but I think that this low over here around the 15th, 16th is probably lower. It's probably the same low. In any case, on the 29th, we have an overbought crest that we sell off through multiple support levels. So prominent peak on the 28th with a sell-off into a low, and then on the 29th, an overbought crest that we sell off through multiple supports. On the 30th, the devil card indicates an intentional fake out or shakeout of some kind, and there's a big move to the upside at the end of the day. It looks like first thing in the morning on the 31st or overnight, there's a big move back down. So that's probably where the fake out is. I probably wouldn't chase that move to the upside, but there is a day trade opportunity on the 30th. Either that or it's a swing trade into the 31st. On the 31st, we have a U-shaped dip that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines, and then on the sneak preview for June is a completion of a bullish trend. You usually see like a kind of like a hump turnover with a completion, not always, but there'll be an important rally on a one-year chart scale that ends there in June, at least temporarily. And that's Google for May 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma, guys. We're counting on you here at Terra for Traders. Make sure to follow through on that. Don't take it for granted. Make sure you follow through on that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version. We're going to get into the best trades momentarily.